Hello and welcome to the Captain's Table, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paul Berserker01 Batman Shelley, your humble host and space bartender here at the AstroPub, your space bar at the end of the universe. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. We hope you enjoy it. Tonight I have with me a guest who's not been on for a very long time, who's sort of still new, and a guest who's not been on for a long time. It's a nice little mix-up. And for those who don't know, I try to bring in people from all over the Star Citizen universe to talk about Star Citizen. So I try to keep a rolling cast of various people coming in and talking, usually everything from streamers, YouTube content creators, screenshots, cosplay, you name it. I try to bring them on and talk about stuff. So with that all being said, let's get into introductions. I'm going to start with you. Celine, who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen, and where can they find you?
Hey, I'm Celine. Admiral Celine of the Nebula Roses. VTuber, I play a lot of space games. Star Citizen, it's what sparks my fancy at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly PvE. I'm what people would call a Care Bear, but I'm not resistant.
Okay. So what you're saying is you're open to what is it, the new game, Hyperspace, the one that's being made by the ex Dice devs. Have you seen that one?
I have not seen that.
Oh, is it called Hyperspace?
I'm just not resistant to participating in PvP.
Ah, okay.
I don't think it hampers the game.
Yeah. But yeah, you should check out Jump Ship. Jump Ship's really cool. It's
I should.
It's not out yet, but it's been in development for a couple of years. And its main kind of deal is it's a PvE game where you control a ship together and you go out on adventures and like FPS mode, and then you get back in your ship and you fly away, but it's all PvE. So
I mean, there's
cool.
also Void Crew too.
Yeah, it's very Void Crew, but it's like Void Crew and Pulsar had a baby. From what I can tell,
sounds like some stuff I need to try.
So yeah, it's not out yet, but it's going to be coming out this year in early access. So. And where can they find you, Celine?
Mostly here on Twitch. Just Celine Star Dragon, all one word.
All right. And
I
Axis.
need to get into YouTube, but
yeah, we all need to diversify our content, and we all have to find time for it. Axis, who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen, and where can they find you?
Hello, 07 everyone. My name is Axis 0096. I'm your friendly neighborhood, I guess you could say Gundam historian, but I predominantly play Star Citizen right now. I primarily am on Twitch, but I also have a YouTube presence that's growing. I'm in Star Citizen. I'm mostly a salvager and a mining enthusiast, but I also like some levels of combat and exploration. So
awesome. And where can they find you? Where can they find
What's
you?
that? Oh, exactly the name is it's spelled on YouTube, Axis 0096, and on Twitch it's lowercase Axis 0096.
Okay, awesome. All right, so let's get started with the first discussion, which is we're going to talk a little bit about 3.23. For those who don't know, 3.23 is the next patch in Star Citizen. It's being released soon-ish. There was a lot of fears, I guess you could say, more than hopes that it was going to be coming out this last week. But they seem to have delayed the release at least to go over. Maybe not. I can't say delayed because it wasn't actually intended. But they have not released it. They're going to test it a little bit longer over the weekend. I think for me it was good. I think a lot of people said it needed to get a little bit more cooking time in the sense of just. For my personal belief was always there's no it hasn't been wave all long enough. It's been wave all for like a day or two, and so the weekend is good. But that aside, we'll talk about that in a moment. It's coming out probably next week. So all of us have played it, yes?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just initial impressions of 3.23 for people who are the uninitiated, who haven't maybe who's been living under a rock or just haven't had a chance to play and aren't interested right now because they're too busy, how would you say 3.23 is in your opinion? Goods and bads. I'll start with you, Axis.
For me, it's kind of a transition because everything's so different. I mean, the star map we have had from 3.0 is gone, totally gone. It's a transition because, okay, an example, when you quantum jump, your shields are gone. So whatever you have in your shield pool, I think that's how they describe it, Paul, is what you get when you exit quantum, and then it has to charge back up. So that's going to take some adjusting to, and also might make piracy pretty legitimate in this patch if you're just a solo miner or salvager and a vulture or a prospector. So it's going to be difficult for the solo players this patch. That's my initial impression. But for groups, it'll still take some minor adjustments because of some of the movement and travel changes, at least from the surface. I've only been in 3.23 maybe a total of 4 times before this stuff.
Okay. So what are the goods and bads that you see out of it? You said I'm guessing the bads is more like the adjustment. Anything that really stands out is like a really good improvement other than say the map.
I love the inclusion of new types of places to go, like the settlement like distribution centers. I kind of see them as they're going to further improve those even further. I mean, you've seen it too, Paul, how they're designed. It looks like they're modular. They're just going to keep expanding them into what we've said company towns. I've said with several people.
Awesome.
And sorry.
No, that's great. Keep going.
And probably the fauna, the first of the fauna that we've had in game at all, any non-human NPCs. And I mean, true, it's 2, but if anyone here has been reading the monthly reports, there's a total of at least, I think, 6, including the 2 that we have.
Yeah, I think they're doing 2 more predators and 1 more, or no, yeah, 2 more predators and 1 more of prey animals. So yeah,
Boreal stalker,
maybe.
Could be. I mean, also the Quasi Grazer was in it, but I don't think it's going to be in this patch. Probably might be the X patch. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, they've been moving pretty fast on some of those. So, all right, Celine, your initial impressions, goods and bads of 3.23.
Okay, we could almost take this wave at a time. Wave 1 was a garbage fire. But I mean, do you expect that from Wave 1?
Yeah.
And they put it out, it reignited, they put it out a few times. It's been a roller coaster. There was a weekend I couldn't even touch it because you couldn't even interact to get out of bed, or you would just get server error loop. They've been doing a lot of work. We said that with 3.18 though. On to the positives though. New HUD, clean as fuck. Sorry.
You're good.
Moby-Glass, I love it. There's subtle changes in the MFDs and ships, and they look just very subtle things in those, and they just look much better. I don't like the new angle, angle ladder on the ship HUD. It's too tight in. I don't like it. It's terrible. Master modes. I'm kind of enjoying it.
Okay. Taking the spicy take?
I'm kind of enjoying it, yeah. I'm an elite dangerous partner. I'm used to slightly slower ships. This is fine.
Yeah. It does feel very elite inspired. A lot of the changes do.
There's also a host of new mission types that I think could encourage new ways to approach. 135,000 VHR on-foot VHRTs.
Ooh.
Ooh.
34,000 missing person missions.
Ooh, nice. I think there's a gosh, what is it? I just did a mission before we started live, or started the stream, or started the recording, where like one of the missing persons missions on the new cargo or distribution centers, and that was very like they make you crawl. Like it's like, yeah, this seems like it's bugged, but then you realize you can crawl through the service areas of the distribution centers.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty nice.
I tried one of the 34,000. It's like, oh, there's a missing person. Get up to this main door. All of a sudden, I was getting shot at because apparently some criminals had snuck in to the building where this guy went missing.
Oh.
We don't have an idea what happened.
That's I didn't even think that they were doing that kind of thing. That's nice storytelling right there. Like I just found a dude dead in a crawl space is all I found.
Yep.
He did have, it was good because he did have a saw in his hands, like one of those big like power saws, like designed to like cutting up like cars and stuff like that.
Oh.
So it's like, oh, he messed up with that power saw. he may have dropped it and gotten some spiciness on himself, but you know.
I mean, he could have just sawed into an electrical conduit.
That too.
Zzz.
Yeah.
You have the barbecue chicken treatment.
Yeah.
Also, this might seem dumb, but there's some missions at the new distribution centers. They're like only a couple thousand, but it's like, hey, can you just move a couple boxes around the warehouse for us? Thanks.
Yeah. I heard some people complaining about one.
I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah. It's neat. I think it definitely needs work. I think instead of it being take these boxes, move them around, it'd be like, hey, take these boxes and pick them. You know, like move them into a location for like transport later. You know, but
actually, there is a mission like that.
Oh, is
like,
there?
Hey, we've got a few boxes picked. Can you pick them up and take them to their delivery points?
Oh, nice.
So you pick up like 5 boxes at the distribution center, and then you deliver them throughout the local planet area.
Okay, that's not bad.
So they're already kind of future-proofing, kind of. You know?
Oh yeah, I would say that the distribution centers feel they're very. You can tell the CIG is planning on a lot of material gameplay to be done at distribution centers. Their distribution centers are Star Citizen's dungeons. Like, yeah, that is like 100% what CIG is designing them as. They're designing as modular dungeons for use for like an MMO style. So,
well, I mean, it comes down to how you approach. Because if you land and enter through the main door, there's shopping kiosks.
Yeah. And then if you do land on top, there's actually like landing pads on top of the building that'll let you access like the main lobby in the top too. So,
yeah.
You know. All right. I will say, good and bad. Star Citizen 3.23 is very polished in the places you would expect it to be polished. The UI is very good. The gameplay is tighter than it is in 3.22. There's a lot of different new missions. There's a lot of new, like the ships perform very well. Like you really see the performance and the improvements that are done on the AI, for instance, in Arena Commander. I did Pirate Swarm Arena Commander and I got my ass kicked, just beat. And I'm not a terrible pilot, but like it was challenging, and I think
there will be a tiny bit of adaptation there because they've overhauled all of the ship weapons.
Yeah, that too. So,
and there's some hit registration problems.
Yeah, and I was going to say, getting to that, there's also its performance is better in some cases and worse in others, but a lot of it is the new content is very buggy. So, like when I was getting to the distribution centers, I would have like it dropped to 10 FPS sometimes in distribution centers, even in the most recent patch.
Deo, sorry.
Go ahead.
Distribution centers may be future-proofing. One of your commenters brought up something that wholeheartedly agree with Deo of the Gamer. He said, "Do you think they could serve as the landing zones for less populated systems and planets?" I really think so. They're huge.
They could gussy one up as a like an outlaw outpost, like an outlaw landing
Oh, I
zone.
I would 100% see that, especially if they could put a bazaar on some of the lower area. Oh,
yeah.
Like the one we saw in the IAE things a couple years ago.
Yeah. Like
where he's like, "Are those real Vandul?"
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Dominus, they're borrowing me from Elite.
Yes. Dominus is this is biblically accurate. Selene, Star Dragon, the
Far Goddess.
The Far Goddess. There we go. The Thar Goddess. Yes. It's based off of Thargoid. Her model's based off of the Thargoids. So that's where, if you're wondering what it is. Let me go over to the next point, which is
I might be getting an outfit that has a coda on the hip, though.
Ooh. So now, are we going to see? Here's a question, though, Celine. Are we going to see Tavaran Celine, or are we going to see Vandul Celine when like say Squadron comes out?
I think we'd be more likely to get Ship Girl outfit.
Ooh, yeah, okay. Like those, like the ones I've been paying people to make.
I would just need to make sure it'd be okay and get a model or some references to work with.
Okay, awesome. I was just gonna say, oh yeah, the next one, Invictus. So we did see an Invictus trailer recently, and there was a lot of little things sprinkled throughout it. What the community has lovingly dubbed the NURSA and medical Ursa is seen in one. There's one scene. There's a green MPUV with a giant tractor beam, which I call the utility crown, because it is our short king. All hail our short king. And then the big one, which is the Polaris. The Polaris is featured prominently throughout the entirety of the trailer. So I'll start with you, Celine. What are your thoughts on the trailer and those three coming out? Are you excited about them? And of course, like, do you think we're gonna fly the Polaris? Maybe.
I'm gonna rewind a bit in time. Go back to SitCon last year when they showed that array of ships. I'm also hearing an echo from somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know where
that array of. These are what we're going to try to put out in the next year.
Mm-hmm.
So we've kind of known the NURSA, the Naked MBUV, and the Polaris are in that list.
Oh yeah.
Actually, can we coin that the Naked MBUV?
The what would you call it? The
naked MPUV.
The naked MPUV. I like it because it's not orange. Oh no, because it doesn't have you're right. It doesn't have a module under it either. It was completely moduleless. So yeah. Oh. Yeah. I like that. Naked Argo, like naked snake. Yeah, continue.
If they were going to choose a time to drop the Polaris, Invictus would be the perfect point, especially with the lead up of the recent event with Xenothreat, the initiative that the Polaris was being released to general civilian use for. This would be the perfect point.
Yeah, I see it. The militia mobilization initiative. Yeah.
Thank you. I couldn't think of it.
So do you think do you still hold on hope that they're going to release it at Invictus?
I'm huffing the hopium, but I'm not going to hold the mask on too long.
Okay. Does the NURSA and the Naked MPUV do those still excite you, or those things you'd be interested in?
the MPV a little bit more
Mhm.
than the Nursa.
Okay.
I've had bad experiences with ground vehicles in 323, so I think I'd rather play with something that's built around picking up some stuff and towing it around.
Okay. Let's go with Axis. Same question to you. Based off of what we've seen in the trailer, and we'll talk a little bit about the Pulse here in a moment, because you did remind me in chat, like, oh yeah, the Pulse. So we'll talk about that here in a moment, because that's actually a 3.23 release, not a Invictus release that's coming out. So, yeah. You're muted,
sorry about that.
Okay.
But
your thoughts?
to add
The Nursa, the Naked MPUV, and the Polaris. What are your thoughts?
there's a lot of implications here. I mean, I feel bad because we're getting the Polaris mainly because of the poor merchantman owners. And there's a reason why. Both are capital ships. One is the cargo capital for the Banu, and the other is a UE frigate, Corvette. Also, did you notice, Paul, in the trailer, the Polaris looks like it's gotten a bit bigger again?
Possibly.
Substantially. Yeah. It's quite a bit bigger than the Hammerhead now. I'm wondering if it's either 180 meters or pretty close to 200 now. It's pretty big.
Okay. We'll have to see if it's gotten any bigger. Do you think?
Yeah. What am I thinking about? Sorry.
About the Polaris? Do you think the Polaris is going to be released with 3.23?
They said something about a fly through of Area 18. I don't think we're going to be able to fly it at Invictus. We might be able to get it at the end of the year in November, or maybe at CitizenCon as a surprise. You can fly a capital ship at last. I think we're close, though, hence the push to show it off. I think this might be the last sale of it being at $750 too.
You think it's going to go up?
Unfortunately, I think it's going to go up. I think it might go up to maybe what the Pioneer is, just short of 1,000, because you're talking about a capital ship. I hate to say it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a Corvette. It's a Corvette.
Yeah, it's a Corvette. It's just got a lot of missiles, and you know how they treat weapon platforms now.
Yeah, they like to cost a lot of. They like to their cost for the money off it is based off of how much weapons it has, so, and what kinds of weapons. So, at least that was their justification for the steel, which yeah, it's bad justification. But.
Yeah, Celine agrees with me. Bad.
Anything else about it? Would you be interested in getting the Nursa or the Naked MPUV?
Yeah, I think the Ursa Red or Nursa. I think the Nursa makes more sense. Ursa Red. It's not a Drake, but doing that.
Yeah.
The Nursa almost certainly seems like something coming with another RSI ship, which is what makes the Ursa, the Polaris, or no, the Apollo. Excuse me.
If I may add to that, I still tinfoil hat believe the Apollo was in that silhouette lineup for the ships they're working on for the coming year.
I could agree.
The one with that looks like it has thrusters pointed down.
Yeah.
And has an elevator down at the bottom.
Yeah,
I think that's the Apollo.
I could see that.
I think Celine hit the nail on the head. The Apollo, does it have a vehicle bay?
I don't think it does.
We know of it?
I don't think it does. It does have. I think it has a back ramp. The big thing I think
Base really Apollo doesn't have weapons. It would probably travel with an escort, especially if doing military pickup. The escort might carry the Nursa for it, since it can't land everywhere.
I honestly think that the Nursa is designed for the Galaxy, because the Galaxy has a vehicle bay. The medical version does have a vehicle elevator on it, which is built specifically for a Ursa, which I always felt is very odd. Like, why would you have an Ursa ramp or Ursa elevator for a medical module? I get it for, a cargo module because they have it for the cargo module as well. But it's like, why would you need an Ursa for a medical module? And I've had my feelings about the Nursa. I've been thinking about the medical Ursa, the ambulance Ursa for a while. It's I think like 2 or 3 years now. I've been saying like they're going to do it because we have no ground vehicles that have medical capabilities. So
You and Tomato both have said something about a medical Ursa or a terrapin, which is mentioned in lore, and it's. I think
still
there's.
say we need a cargo atlas platform.
I agree. We need a flatbed. Just slap that the backside of it, just nothing but cargo.
Well, we do know that the Atlas might be getting a new variant, possibly, because look, Anvil and Aegis, that's something I actually wanted to talk about this year, are separate from every other manufacturer this year.
Yeah, they're standalone.
That's kind of odd.
There's a lot of ships in their lineup, but I don't think there's enough ships to justify their own full standalone when it comes to Invictus. So it is kind
I will counterpoint, devil's advocate here.
Mm-hmm.
Anvil and Aegis are two of the most important military development. And considering the dioramas we got in IAE, as important as these two manufacturers are, they might have dedicated fancy displays.
Okay.
So that's why they get their own days.
They could also, devil's advocate for the devil's advocate. I think Selena is also right, but I'm also kind of wondering if we might get a new concept from each.
Oh, wait. There is one. You did bring up a good point there. Tally base.
Tally base. Yeah, the gold standard tally.
Ooh, yes, the modules.
And typically with Invictus, they do the first day has a big sale, the middle day, the middle show has a big sale, and the end has a big sale. So that would be early day would be the because there's RSIs in the very beginning, so it'd be the RSI and the and Argo and PUV. I think those two would get a little bit more, but the RSI Ursa is the Nursa is going to be the new ship that they're going to be releasing. And then the middle
Sorry for getting so far off topic.
No, you're right. No, because we're talking about Invictus anyways. So, but it's like, and yeah, for anyone who's wondering, the Nursa is the thing that the community has coined for the medical Ursa, and I'm just going to call it Nursa.
It sounds right.
It sounds good. It sounds great. I have to look at the Invictus schedule really quickly because that'll tell us a little bit more about where are you there? Okay, so it's May 17th to 18th is RSI Origin, Consolidated Outland, and Argo, which is perfect for the Argo MPUV update and the Nursa. And then May 19th to 20th is Crusader, Tumbril, Mirai, and Misk, which is it's fine, but like there's nothing there. And right smack dab in the middle is Aegis at May 21st and May 22nd. I think that's the gold standard Retaliator. And then there's then there's Anvil. So based on its placement, I don't know if we'll see anything from Anvil. We might get some updates here and there, but and then lastly is Defense Con, which is Drake Defense Con from May 25th to the 26th. And typically Drake has something to show off. I don't know what it would be. It might be a concept for things like the what is it?
No, they skip the Polaris, they skip other stuff, and then they just drop the Kraken.
The Kraken, yeah.
That would kill the Polaris owners. I mean, we're going to give the Kraken at this IE. That would make everybody just be like, what?
I could see them do previews and ideas. Maybe not sales, but a preview of modularity for the Caterpillar, or like an explanation of how modularity is going to work for the Caterpillar.
Actually, with as much as they've talked about modularity, that is a good possibility.
Yeah.
Module proposals.
Yeah.
Aegis modules. What other ships are?
I could see them selling more Retaliator modules, on that as well for sure. Misk has its has the modules for the Endeavor. And then there's the Galaxy, which is the RSI, which I could see them selling the base module, base building module, or refinery, the construction module. But that could also I could also see them. I could see them showing it off in like a video, and then setting it for the sale and for IAE for those. But but yeah. All right.
Carrick modules.
Maybe the Carrick. I don't think the Javelin's really ready yet.
I don't want any modules for the Carrick. I just want to be able to open the pod doors.
Yes. Let's go. And we'll talk about this here in a moment because there is something we want to talk about in here. But I love the medical Ursa. That is the thing I've been waiting for the longest time. The Nursa is great. I'm probably going to buy one. Probably not going to be worth the money, but I'm going to get it just because it looks fun. And I really, really hope that when they're doing the MPUV, it's not you have to buy a new MPUV. It probably is going to be, but this is a different version of the MPUV because it's got that specific attachment point. Because we've seen concept images of the MPUV having that like roof slot is like a utility point. Because like I've seen images of them using it for like a salvage and repair arm has been put on that thing before. Now obviously a tractor beam. I could see a lot of different things like that. So, but yeah, it also looks like a huge tractor beam, like probably size 1 or size 2 tractor, probably like a size 2 tractor beam, which is huge for a snub ship. But all right, let's move on to the thing we did skip over, which is the pulse. What are your thoughts on the pulse? I'll start with you on this one, Axis.
With me?
Yeah.
Okay, the pulse. I think a lot of people are going to agree with me on this one. When I saw the picture of it doing a hard turn and looked like a wheeled bike, it made me a little angry.
Why is that?
Because what is the one Tumbro vehicle that has not come out, chat? The Ranger series. And I'm like,
yeah,
it's
I get it.
Close.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to talk about it because it's too close to home. It's too close to home, chat. But other than that, is it do you like it? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Would you pick one up?
Despite my feelings, I think I will pick up a couple of them, mainly because of the unique new weapon on the main one. Because we don't have a plasma Gatling gun on anything that I think of. That's a brand new weapon. And I'm hoping John Cruz like, hey, why don't we put this on some other vehicles and ships? Can you imagine like a size 5 Revenant version of that on a Buccaneer?
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. I mean, because we have repeaters, but we don't really have Gatlings. That's a different.
We don't have versions of
Devil's Advocate, the Panther line, kind of operates the same way.
Yeah.
Except it's stationary and it just alternates.
Yeah, it's a repeater. And the CIG said it's their first laser Gatling, and I think it's the rate of fire. Because like if you fire like a ballistic Gatling and you fire a repeater, the repeaters are slightly slower. They're like the faster firing of the laser weapons, but I think they're slightly slower than the Gatlings. I think, and the way that they described this one for the Pulse is it's a Gatling. It's like a full blown like fast shooting comparatively, but yeah. All right, Celine, your thoughts on the Pulse?
I kind of want one. Probably the combat one. Just to have something easy to carry around. Just pocket sized.
It is the closest we have to like a moped,
Yeah.
I'm surprised how small it is. So
it really is. It's like what did they say? Smaller, almost smaller than a 2 SCU crate. That is tiny.
It means that you can fit it into anything you can fit a 2 SCU crate in, which is a lot. So, Anything else?
Just in a thought, it just reminded me of that little bike that the main character uses in Titan AE in the first sequence.
Yes. The little space bike he has? Yeah.
Yep.
It also reminds me of the Akira cycle. Somebody else said it in chat. The color scheme of the red and black.
It's very anime jet bike coated.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, like it looks like it could be a Capsule Corp, vehicle from Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. It just needs a button to poof it into a little pocket thing.
Little pocket thing. Where's my hoverboard, CIG? Where's the hoverboard? Everyone's now wanting the hoverboard. You're making small stuff.
It will be good for those that are just like, oh, all I need is my Titan.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be something that they can just slide in the bag.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say the reason I'm really excited for it is it should fit in a Titan. They can fit 3 in an MPUV. Like they can fit 1 in a Titan, which is great. So go ahead.
We just
You just we got rated by Soul Citizens and by Space Tomato.
We're having a good day.
Yeah, welcome everybody. All right, let's kind of move up, wrap up this discussion, because we're kind of almost 40 minutes into this, and I want to kind of move on to the question and answers. But we've kind of talked a little bit about the ships. We've talked about Invictus. Let me give you 2 more questions. So the next question, I'll start with you, Celine, on this one, is are you excited for Invictus? Given everything we have so far, actually, before we get to that, let's do the other one. With everything that's going on with 3.23, where its current status is, and knowing that it's probably going to release in the near future, is this a patch you would suggest new players jump in on, or for players who have been waiting for, because there's been a lot of hype for the new map, right? People have been waiting for that new map to come out. If someone said, "Hey, Celine, should I jump into Star Citizen now? Is this the good patch to jump in?" What would your response be?
Well, I mean, we are going to be getting a free fly coming up.
Yeah.
There's the local map. So a big complaint I hear from new players is, oh, I got lost in Lorville.
Mhm.
I got lost in Area 18. And you can pause and just kind of look at your Moby Glass and go, wait, oh, that's the direction. Oh, that's what I'm looking for.
Okay. So you would say yes if someone asked that question, or more like wait for the free flight for Invictus.
The new flight modes will put a lot of people in equal footing.
Okay.
So there's going to be a lot of people learning that. I feel like the new flight mode is a little more approachable because you're not barreling out at 1300 just out of the hangar.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Axis, same question to you. Someone came to you and said, "Hey, I've been waiting for it to come back in. Is this the patch for me to jump back in?"
Yeah, I think this is a better patch than the more recent ones in terms of accessibility for really new players, because you have a mini map, you have a lot more signage that was provided in the more recent patches, and a lot of quality of life improvements, I would say, to the UI, general cleanup stuff, preparing it for more of a commercial release. I guess what I'm saying is it's not quite there yet, but this is more of a polished product for someone just getting in than I would say when I came in and say, 3.8.
Okay.
Z Doctor also pointed out something in chat. They added guidance lights to point out where the port is in Area 18.
That too.
And a lot of landing locations have more visible lighting solutions now. So you don't have to keep quantum mode up to see where it is. You can go like, oh, there's the light.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of torn because 3.23 is a very good upgrade. There's a lot of cool stuff in 3.23. It's very much a improved experience overall, but it's also Star Citizen. It's still very Star Citizen. It still has some of the bugs, some of the problems. So I don't know if I could say, hey, yeah, just hop into 3.23 and enjoy yourself, because the caution I would say is it's not going to be, if you can't come into 3.23 being like, oh boy, I got a new map and it's a completely different game. It is, but all of the same bugs you're used to are probably still present. There are some improvements and some, other downsides. The new stuff can have some weird performance issues. So, but like Celine said, there's a free flight coming up. So if you were looking to jump back, maybe, like your mileage may vary. If you're brand new to the game, I don't know. I honestly say don't buy right now. Go play when Invictus drops. Go do the free flight, because you won't be able to experience it for yourself for free and get your own interpretation before any of us were able to. So better than any of us would be able to. But now, with that being said, because I want to talk about Invictus, are you looking forward to Invictus? And what are you looking forward to Invictus specifically about? Axis.
Sorry.
You're good.
I'm having some feedback, so I had to mute.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm looking forward to not just, the new ships and stuff, but also any surprises they might. Because we know that with a big sale, they comes surprises. And I think I'll leave it short and sweet and let you guys. Yeah.
Okay.
That's I've always said for Invictus to expect the unexpected.
All right. Celine, are you excited for Invictus, and what about Invictus is exciting or not exciting?
Average excitement. I enjoy the pageantry of these in-universe shows that they put on.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I enjoy wandering around the display halls and seeing what they've arranged this year. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be the guided tour of the Idris, or unguided tour.
Unguided, yeah. Yeah, that's right. You get to wander around.
I was busy elsewhere, and I didn't bother trying to board the Idris, so being able to take my time and just wander around one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think myself that I haven't been able to go through one on my own. So, and I think this is a good move for sure to be able to have people go through. For those of you who don't know, I also do what I call lore tours every Invictus and IAE. So I also kind of get together and stream going through the entirety of the ships in on display, and kind of talking about the history of the manufacturers and the ships themselves. And I do it even though I say, yeah, there's going to be a lot of some things to be right, some things to be wrong. I'm gonna be shooting from the hip a lot of times with my notes. I often get people being like, actually, Mr. Historian, you just said this is really this. It's like, oh, God damn it, shut up. But you will get a chance to check those out. So I'll definitely be doing that. So I'm excited for that, because I love doing that sort of thing with the community, where I'm interacting with those things.
Are you going to make a specific lore tour for the Idris walk around?
Probably. Almost certainly will, just because the Idris itself has got such an interesting background stuff. So, but yeah, that'll be separate from I'll probably do it on the same day as the Aegis day, and make it a kind of a separate video release. So, what was I going to say? In general, I think I'm optimistic about this IAE, i.e. Invictus. But I've always felt that Invictus needs a little bit more than it has currently. I feel like they're still kind of resting on what they've done in the past. So I'm hoping that they add more things. I hope they add more varied sort of signs and those sorts of things. So, and I am looking forward to the surprises that'll come out. And I've been doing this thing where I really enjoy watching how improved the free flights are. For those of you who are uninitiated and you've never been to a free flight, welcome to the dumpster fire that is going to be the worst experience you've ever had in Star Citizen. and that worst experience is going to get better. It's been getting better.
It weeds out the weak.
It is our crucible, and just every year they do this, or every couple months they do this, and it always people always come in and they're like the server FPS drops to almost nothing, the characters are glitching out, you've got awful performance, but people still come in, see it, and go, wow, this is amazing, and they stay. So. But it is every year it's gotten better. Like last year's events were not, I wouldn't say amazing, but like they were better stability wise and performance wise than previous years. And so I'm looking forward to see what they can do for this year and to see it improve it.
The one with the IAE wasn't terrible.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to. I'm hoping that it's uneventful. I'm hoping that when you go in, no one really notices any difference from the live version. And they're just like, oh, it's just more people now. That's my hope. And then eventually kind of pull it back up from that, so that then it's a better experience every time. So, I think that's it for our discussion, and we'll move on to the question and answer session for those of you who have been asking questions. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, make sure you rate the podcast, and make a comment and such like that. It helps a lot. I don't do the podcast version. Like I don't professionally produce that. This is a live stream. So I do my best to try to do some post-processing to even out the audio and everything like that. But I am an amateur when it comes to this. So let me know if that is, how to improve. If you have tips, let me know that as well. And for those of you watching this live on Twitch and live on YouTube, make sure you hit that follow button on Twitch, the subscribe button on YouTube. Make sure you like the video on YouTube and comment down below your thoughts on anything we've talked about so far. Make sure you check out Axis0096 on Twitch and YouTube. Make sure to check out Celine Stardragon on Twitch. And we'll be right back. A couple minutes to break, use the restroom, kind of stuff like that. When we come back, we'll go into your questions and answers. So don't go anywhere.
Why am I unmuted?
There we go.
We're unmuted.
You're unmuted
They
now.
can hear us.
They can hear us.
All right, chat. Welcome back to the captain's table.
There we go. Welcome, chat. We only have 2 questions, so if y'all want to ask questions, feel free to ask questions. Go hit the little pub coin icon in the bottom left. Hit the captain's table question, and then hit redeem question. You can put it in there. I'll start off with the very first one, the first question, which is from Dow the Gamer, who asks, with master modes coming in and new balance approaching, how would you balance fighters versus large capital ships? I'll start with you on this one, Celine.
That is where roles really come in. I'm hearing feedback.
It's Axis. It's good now.
All right. An example I like to look to a lot is Star Wars. The Star Wars lore.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to see an A-Wing take on a Star Destroyer. But you might see a Y-Wing make a bombing run. And that's what they're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
X-Wing has a balanced sort of multi-role. And so it's like an arrow is not going to attack an Idris or a Hammerhead. A Hornet might make a couple runs. An Eclipse or an Ares will definitely. So I kind of feel like, what are they supposed to be doing in combat? What are their primary targets?
Mm-hmm. Axis, same question with you. With master modes coming in and balancing approaching, how would you balance fighters versus large/cap ships?
Well, fighters are basically designed to take on things more or less around their similar size, right? Pretty much. Well, that's the light fighter meta. They're meant to go head to head with
other light fighters or other fighters.
Yeah. Or swarm medium and heavy fighters. They're meant to act as a screen for larger ships.
Yes, fighter screens.
Yeah.
Exactly. And where am I going with this? Larger ships, as many people have noticed, say on a Hammerhead, I think it's about the largest ship you have that will hit fighters, but it's still not really great. Even with those repeaters going, it's only meant for heavy fighters. Small fighters can get in the dead spots, the weak spots,
the blind spots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because that's supposed to be what Project Monitor was, an anti-fighter platform.
Exactly.
Have you tried it in 3.23 though? Because the question is more about like how would you balance the fighters versus large caps with master modes?
Fighters seem to have an unusual amount of ammunition. Well, I think this may hurt some of the fighters in there. I think there needs to be an armor rebalance.
Okay.
And I know a lot of people are going to be mad at me for saying this. I think a lot of the light fighters need to have a lot weaker HP pools.
Smaller HP pools.
Yeah, because the Gladius, there's no way it should be able to tank a size 4 or 5 missile head on,
Or
well,
size.
It can.
Go ahead.
I think the biggest it can take is like a size 3.
Yeah.
And I think that will shear wings off.
I've been hit with size 2, size 3 missiles in a Hornet, and just one tap, done, completely knocked out. From
right,
the Mark II might take a little more because it's much denser.
It's more modern. I think it's got better armor, but then again, it's descended from a very new military platform.
Yeah. When it comes to the question which is again, with master modes coming in and new balancing approaching, how would you balance fighters versus large cap ships?
Now, to be honest, I haven't tried a Hammerhead because PTU, I haven't been able to get a group into one yet.
All right.
So I don't have. I've been on smaller ship side. I haven't thought anything too big though.
I think CIG's in the right direction because CIG's doing this rock paper scissors thing, where they're doing, each type of ship has its advantages and disadvantages. Like light fighters will and can absolutely destroy medium and heavy fighters because they're a lot more nimble. They can stay away from it. They can run away from it. They're faster. All these sorts of things. They're still weak against those counterfires though. So during combat, they can take a lot of damage. They can't take a lot of damage, so they'll get knocked out. Whereas medium fighters can still take a little bit more damage, do a little bit more nimble. So they're all kind of balanced against each other. Like medium fighters can take on light fighters and can tank the light fighters' attacks, but light fighters can be a little bit more nimble. Heavy fighters can tank a lot more. But they're not as nimble. But if they get into the range of something, they can do it. But their main job isn't really to fight fighters. Their job is to fight gunships, things like the Connie and the Perseus, the Redeemer, and the Corsair. That sort of range of like larger ships.
Perseus too.
Yeah,
Perseus too.
Kind of goes with the Star Wars example.
Yeah.
That seems to be the direction they want to go.
Yeah. And I think that's right. I think it's the right kind of direction where like each class of ship is going to design to be fighting a little bit above and maybe a little bit below. And if it specializes in above or below, like the Hammerhead specializes in punching down, whereas the Perseus specializes in punching up and across. Well, it also punches down. But those two ships punch down, whereas like Corvettes punch up and down a little bit.
The Polaris, I think, has an array of size 5 weapons and the big torps.
Yes.
But it carries a fighter bay to have a little bit of screening.
Yeah, because it can't really screen for
it would
itself.
be vulnerable to smaller targets where traveling with escort Hammerhead would cover that.
Exactly. Because like an Eclipse or Retaliator is the natural enemy of the Polaris because it can it's a glass glass cannon. It can punch hits. It can deal out punches, but it can't take them back. So it's got reliant on its speed and maneuverability, and it's a Corvette. I don't expect it to be able to handle like a light fighter. So that's where the balance really comes in. Go ahead.
Someone was saying Polaris doesn't have size 5. I'm talking about the turret mounts. I'm not clear on the turret mounts off the top of my head.
Yeah, the Perseus doesn't have a size 5. Perseus has 4 size 7s. So
yeah,
I'll look at
the Polaris is what the Redeemer wants to be.
Yes.
Or Perseus is what the Redeemer wants to be.
Yes. I'm looking up the Polaris right now. Its weapon system is size 5. Size 5 remote turret, size 4s, size 4s and size 5s. It has 1 size 5, 5 size 4s, and 6 size 4s. So yeah, so it does have a size 5, but it also has a lot of like smaller guns. It's not punching up when it comes to it's not using its guns to fight capital ships, but it is designed to shoot like hammerheads and stuff like that. So all right. Yeah, but I think in general, CIG's in the right direction. And the big thing that people need to remember is that this is only part 1 of like a 4 or 5 part balance. They're already working on resource system. The new resource system is going to be added, and that's going to add some more balance. They're working on things like, what is it called? Maelstrom, which is going to be the armor and damage system. So that's going to change things. So like when you shoot a fighter, all of its components are going to be clustered together. So if you shoot in the area of where it is and hit it, you're probably going to hit something. Whereas if you shoot something like a Connie, it's more spread out. Its places are. So you have to target specific parts of the ship if you want to do certain amounts of damage, which requires precision and timing, and you have to get in close. And so those are also all balances themselves.
Also, as we see in the engineering mode, there will be hitting the the nodes in between
Yeah.
to shut down parts of the ship.
But it's going to require skill to hit them. So it's less of a, and that's where some of that balance is going to come in, where you can't just take in a light fighter and win anymore, which is, the right direction, I think. So, all right. And then there's the one that Dow asked earlier, which we kind of talked about, on the topic of distribution center, while they quote unquote obviously are intended as dungeons. They're dungeons. I mean, see, the way CIG has talked about them, they talk about raids happening in them. And, raids are the same kind of idea. Like dungeon, I'm not saying like dungeon as if it was like,
tank looking for group, need healer and DPS.
Yeah. I'm thinking more like the dungeon in terms of like what in game design would be called a dungeon. Like a self-contained arena, which is designed to have its own experience and its own challenges separate from the open world, with possibly a boss or some other challenge at the end. So that's what I'm kind of looking for some of that.
Yeah, the distribution centers definitely have their own ecosystem within them.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I think that's really why I compared them to dungeons, because that's really what they are. So they asked a question: what do you think about the idea of us to serve as landing zones for less populated in systems planets? I think we all agreed. Yeah, 100%. It's smart use of assets if they did. Yeah. I could see them being used as because there are distribution centers that will be in Pyro. So I could see distribution centers in Pyro being gang HQs.
Weren't there some companies that left like systems like Magnus?
Yeah.
So they might have left some buildings behind.
Oh yeah, there's definitely, it was Pyro itself, the Pyrotechnic Amalgamated, which is where the system got its name from.
Nyx might also have some too,
because it had its own mining.
It's a major mining area.
Yeah, and they're old systems. Like Pyro is like 500 years old, so it's been around for a very long time. It predates the UPE kind of thing, so there's going to be some systems, some distribution centers or some sort of mining operations out there. And I can see them using the distribution center kind of buildings as that representation. And I can see them as gang HQs where you go to this distribution center represents the headquarters of the headhunters. And this is the fire rats. And these are the like Xenothreat. Well, Xenothreat has its own because it's the ruined station, but yeah. Let's go to the next question. Citizen Joel asks, which ship do you think will be best for finding good ore deposits for base building? Celine, what do you think? I think the question is more like finding the ore deposits, not necessarily exploiting them.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't like the 315 have an expanded sensor suite as well?
Yeah, it does.
So the 400i, which is supposed to be for that, the Carrack, which has its own suite and drones and stuff, and the 315, which could be a scout vessel. Possibly Pisces.
Okay. Axis, what would you think? What do you think?
There's a lot of ships that could fall into that category. On top of the one Celine just listed, I can think of the Terrapin with its scanning station. The Odyssey, somebody literally just mentioned, because it's a resource capital ship, basically. What's another one? The Pisces Expedition, definitely.
MSR does have that dish on the top too.
Yeah.
The MSR is another good one, Celine. There we go. Okay. The Zeus ES, somebody mentioned in the DUR. Good idea of the prisoner. Thank you for that.
And Joel is asking, is there a differentiation between scanning and radar? They're the same thing. They're supposed to be the same thing. So like scanning and radar are the same systems as far as I know. I think radar is more of the passive location and scanning is more of the active finding stuff. So, but we don't have 100% on that one.
Hornet Tracker.
So,
the cost of the big ships, though, that we did mention some ships that run the gambit of price.
Oh yeah.
Like the Pisces and 315 are on the lower end.
So which one would you think is the best for finding like ore deposits for base building? Which one would you use if you
Base building? You're probably not going that far anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say a Pisces or a 315.
Okay. Axis?
Probably in the same small category, Pisces 315. Probably if you're looking for a specific mineral, if it comes down to that,
Yeah.
Maybe the terrapin, but I don't see any need for capital ships.
Yeah. I would say terrapin probably. If I was thinking about that sort of situation where I need to find an ore deposit where I'm going to build a base so I can extract that ore.
Cutter Scout's another alternative too.
Yeah, you can use Cutter Scout, but it's something small, something one person. Because if it also depends on the scale. If we're talking about like a org base, then yeah, big ship makes sense because you want to have a lot of people helping you out.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just talking about like, I just want to take my little homestead and go prospecting, then yeah, just pop out a smaller ship. But I think a lot of the exploration ships are going to be the best sort of ships you're going to find for finding minerals. So, all right, let's pull out some of the questions from YouTube real quick. From Renaman McDonagh, who asks, some ships come with variants of 3. Will the Carrack see 2 more variants? Axis, what do you think?
No.
No, Celine? Celine says no. Axis?
It's kind of one of those weird things you're thinking of. I mean, it's so big, and they mentioned it was a former military ship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There are still versions.
So in lore, there could have been a Carrack M, a military spec and armor version of the Carrack. I don't think we're ever going to have access to that ship, but who knows?
Yeah.
We did well. Someone did mention though there's supposed to be a differentiation between the base Carrack and the expedition. It's not just the skin. So, it's kind of one of those things. And then we have the whole question: why was the Carrack discontinued in the first place? Is there a Carrack Mark II, another variant?
No, it's still out there.
Anvil seems to do a lot of Mark IIs and variants and all kinds of weird stuff. So
I don't think the thing is that the one exception for variants in terms of like numbers of 3 is larger ships. Like once you get out of the large category, you stop seeing those variants. Like I don't think we'll ever see a Carrack module like variation. I don't think we'll see a variant of the Carrack. I don't think we'll see a variant of the Corsair.
Right.
I think the weird outlier is the Connie. We have a lot of variants, but I think it's just because it's an old ship. It's a ship that was like out for a long time, so they made a lot of different variants of it. But
my reason for just jumping on no is because Anvil. The Hornet Mark I has so many variants because there's a lot of aftermarket kits people have made.
Mm-hmm.
And being in military service as long as it has, the Arrow is still relatively new.
Mm-hmm.
Air quotes, relatively.
Yeah.
The Terrapin only has the one. The Valk only has the one. The Hurricane only has the one. The Arrow only has the one. They do small upgrades over time, like better thrusters, stuff like that.
Mm.
The Hornet Mark II is just a whole overhaul, bringing it up to a more modern standard. I don't think the Carrack will have any variant outside of maybe dropping the pods off and swapping, I don't know, a science bay and a chemistry bay.
I could see a refinery bay. So like they can refine their own fuel so they can stay out longer, kind of thing. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Maybe a habitation bay, so it's extended habitation. All right, there's another question on YouTube I saw, and I'll try to pull it out real quick.
Anvil does have variants of the C8.
They do,
but in and of itself, the C8 is sort of a module.
Yeah, I don't know if the expedition is anything more than just a skin, honestly, and the C8.
It has the C8 expedition has extra weapons, and then there's the medical one.
Yeah, but I'm talking about.
And there's sort of like add-ons, and they're selling extra pieces for things. Yeah,
I'm my only thought is when are we gonna get the C8 bomb? Swap out the middle section for just a giant bomb you just push out the back.
That would drive morphologists up a wall. I could just imagine the video.
Friendly now. C8A coming in.
Morphologists would be like,
yeah. All right, so Red Samurai ask a question. It says, big question. What modular units do you think there'll be for the Retaliator? Will they be for sale during Invictus? And what are your price predictions? And lastly, the price of the Retaliator base. So let's just start off with the prices real quickly. Celine, what do you think the price of the Retaliator base? Do you think it's going to go up, or do you think it's going to stay the same? Because it's currently $150.
Considering the tally itself, I could see it going up to maybe 175, 190, right around the Taurus area.
Okay.
The modules will probably be 40 to 50.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Galaxy is like 80 to 90 per module.
Yeah. But that's like one modular, because there's just two modular bays. For reference for y'all, for what the modules they have sold, the most of them are really cheap. I think the living modules were $25 a piece.
Oh, please bring that back.
This is like a forward module, living module, and a rear living module. They're both $25. And then the cargo modules in the front and the back are also $25. And then I want to say $75 for the dropship module. And then it was...
dropship tax.
Yeah, I think it was... and then there was... but this only fits in one. There's only one that can fit in the back. And then I think it was like $50 for the torpedo modules to like put into, because it was two torpedoes. It might have been $75 for each, because it was like two. But if you bought the base and then the two torpedo modules, it would equal the same as just the Retaliator bomber. It was like the same price. So, but you think they'll go up a little bit in price?
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Axis?
The living modules might not, but the other big ones will.
Okay. Axis, same question. Do you think the price of Retaliator is going up? And what do you think the modules? Do you think they're going to increase or decrease or whatever?
Right. I already have the base tally. In fact, I bought it last year because I kind of had a feeling when I saw that picture. Yep. I was like, yep, price going up. So I bought it for $150, probably the best 150 I've got. But that's beside the point. What's going to happen is, I think a lot of people are hitting the nail on the head. I think it's going to be 200 without modules, maybe a little cheaper, maybe a little more. And you said it has two different module areas, right?
Front and back. Yeah.
Front and back. I almost want to go into the crazy with the tally, because you know where I'm going. Okay. There are rumors that there is supposed to be several new modules for the Retaliator base. Mm-hmm. And we know that there's been some work on a certain exoskeleton due to Squadron 42.
Listen, my brother in Mecca, we know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just say the Titan suits.
The Titan suit armor is being worked on through Squadron 42's pipeline. God, I hope there's not a 32. But the recharge module, if they ever sold that would probably be the single most expensive module for the tally. I'm going to guess 90 on that.
Mm-hmm.
at least. But most of the other modules, I would say, would be under that benchmark. If they, does anyone in chat know if there's supposed to be a medical module for the Retaliator? Do you know?
We don't know. We have no other than the dropship module, which I thought it was in the back, but the chat's telling me it's in the front. It's a dropship module, then the 2 torpedo modules, the 2 living modules, and the 2 cargo modules, and that's all we know. So, and what chat's saying is that there was a Retaliator, or there was a medical module for the Retaliator at IAE. So
Wow.
I will quickly address one question that's not directly related, but I can handle it really quick.
Go ahead.
Someone asked what I used to make my avatar. This was an art piece that was bought for me, and then 2 friends of mine, Juo VT and Kid Nowo, sort of took it apart, reassembled it, and made it move.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Let me see.
I can appreciate good work. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. It's solid. It's a solid 3D avatar for sure because it's
Actually, this is a
2D?
flat image.
Wow.
It's just cut into so many pieces and run through a program called Cubism
Okay.
that just makes it move.
Nice.
Gives it that illusion.
Yeah, it's good. It's like a 2.5D almost. So.
Yep.
Nice. So yeah, and the other questions for modules, I think the sky's the limit. Anything that can be used that CIG could think of, I could see CIG doing a medical module, a refinery module, a construction module. I would love to see a Titan suit drop module because that was one of the things that was hinted at a long time ago. Was that Retaliator modified Retaliators was how they would drop Titan suits into the battlefield. So you would have like the Titan suits like hanging out of the bay, and then it would get down low and then release the Titan suits to drop them in, kind of like the Edge of Tomorrow exosuit deployment system, like something like
I'm
that.
almost thinking the turtles from what is it, Roughneck Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I could see them. I don't necessarily know if they'll sell them but I almost certainly they'll show it off in like concept. So
I don't think they're going to show the Titan suit module this year because it's too close to Squadron 42's release.
Yeah.
You're going to wait post 42.
I would lose my mind. They're asking if they sell the Titan suit at ILW. I would lose my mind if they sold it at ILW. CIG, if you want to make money, if you want to print money, if you want to print money in the same way that you've been printing money with the F8 and the F7, sell the Titan suit. It doesn't even have to work. You just have to like have the concept. People would buy 4.
One.
Yeah.
Our liberty demands it.
What's that meme? I'll take your whole stock. That's me. It's just like, just shut up. Here.
The Fry from Futurama. Shut up and take my money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could definitely see that in Walker. Almost the Galaxy seems better than a Retaliator for the Titan suit drop module. It's a bigger ship.
They're asking is using your Jedi powers for price prediction. gotta reach in. Gotta reach in and think about it. Oh gosh, what is it? Yeah, but I think really we'll see CIG experiment with modules, but I do think that they're going to take it slow because we're not actually getting all of the modules with the Retaliator base. We're only getting the cargo module and the torpedo module. Those are the only 2 we're going to be getting when the initial releases, and then they're going to do the living quarters and the dropship afterwards. I can imagine the dropship will probably come in before the living quarters because I'm almost certain that the living quarters are also going to have extended range atmosphere. So it'll probably come with some sort of like boost to the atmosphere itself so you can like stay longer. But that requires the new room system and the new resource systems to be added to all of them. So
Wombless is
Yes.
inhaling the hopium.
Ah, man, I'd love a nail deployment system out of that thing too. For those of you who don't know, if you've played Helldivers, Star Citizen has its own hellpods. They're called nails. They're used by the Marines to get from orbit to ground in 60 seconds, 90 seconds. And to make sure they don't go splat, they actually use the inertial dampener systems on the Hornet, and they built it into the pod so that you're it's still not an easy drive, but it's like you're being vibrated like a I don't even know what would it be like a rock tumbler. I mean, you're being pulled from the inertial dampeners, so it's just trying to cancel your fall while gravity is shooting you straight down into the floor. So it's just kind of being pulled, like stretched and pulled back and forth to compensate. So they have to do some extensive training to get through that, and I think everyone would love something like that.
It's kind of one of those limbo modules because the UEE says they won't give it to us. However, the F-7A Mark II Hornet is kind of one of those weird things where it's like, what won't they give us due to the PDF? They may give us nails at some point, a civilian version.
I can see it. I mean,
they don't have to give us anything if we take what we want.
If we take what we want. I do think that people will say, well, my escape pod is kind of like a drop pod. And if I just take an escape pod and use my escape pod with my gun in my hand, I can be with the right gravity and movement, I can be dropped directly onto a ground somewhere. And I know a lot of people go, well, that's dangerous. It's like, yeah, but it's fun.
It's fun. It's fun.
People do stuff.
Drop pods are inherently dangerous.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
And I hate to say it, that module, the nail module for the Retaliator, will be the #1 selling module, even biting the Titan suit.
Yeah, I think so too. Because I think there's a lot more people excited about jumping into a pod and being shot at a planet than they would be in a big mech or in an exosuit. But
I would line up with the exosuit more, but hey.
Yeah, I am a saint for mechs.
Titanfall.
Yeah, that's literally prepare for Titanfall. All right, next question comes from Alcinor, who asks, they did confirm a partial wipe in i.e. AUEC and rentals. Do you think this will include in-game purchased ships? Last I heard, no. Jake,
it would be nice, but no. Unless we see a post about it from one of them.
This was brought up in my Discord, and Jake, who's a community manager at CIG, came in and was just like, rentals is rentals. We're not getting rid of the ship purchases. I don't think they said specifically that they weren't going to wipe the ships, but they said that the rentals didn't have some secret code meaning of it wasn't dev speak for all the ships you purchase. It was just rentals. So yeah. M. Walker asks, the Inferno and Ion were sold as capital ship killers. Do you their weapon size should be lower limit of what the damage of a capital ship, of what will damage a capital ship? I guess, do you think their weapon size should be lower limit?
Do I think their weapon should be the lower limit of what can damage? No. I would say size 5 is where we start getting into that.
Yeah.
It depends on the capital ship you're shooting at. I wouldn't expect a Harbinger size 5 gun to damage a Bengal. No.
But I also, like with the size 7, the thing about they understand, I think a lot of people got the Ares because they're like, oh, I can snipe a javelin or an Idris. You're not killing a javelin or an Idris with a single size 7.
No.
You need a squadron of Ares to take on a capital ship. But the advantage of that is your bullets can't be intercepted by PDS. So
yep.
So your bullets are going to hit. They just can't stop you. They have to hit you, and there's a lot more of you than them. So it's that kind of counterplay where you have torpedo bombers, which are designed to attack capital ships. The Ares is designed as a alternative to torpedo bombers, but you still need a larger number than you would just torpedo bombers. So
I almost wish they had a third version of the Ares that instead of firing missiles would launch torps.
okay,
But it'd be too well rounded.
You can put size 5 torps on it.
on the Ares,
Yeah.
oof,
You can replace the size 30 racks on the wings with torp
torp
with
racks.
size 5 torps.
Oof, oof. I'll have to take a look at that.
That would be fun.
It
Yeah.
is. The magazine fed size 3 launcher is bespoke and you cannot change it, but I think it's
Oh,
some
That's-
like 543s or something on the wings.
Nice.
They are the regular models. You can swap them out. You could swap them down, swap them up.
That turns
Yeah, I
into a
didn't-
much more dangerous anti-capital ship because size fives, they're not great for capital ship killing, but they're going to do some damage. So
Well,
you've-
a wing. We'll call a wing of Infernos 3.
Mhm.
So they could carry 6 size 5 torps. They could do a strafing run with the size 7 guns. Maybe put weakened shields enough, loop back, launch all of their torpedoes, and swing away.
yeah, they could
And
they
that
could
would
use,
be a big hit.
yeah, they could use their guns to disable the PDSs, come in and fire and hit, specifically target the point defense systems so that they can't attack the torpedoes, and then once those are down, they can fire the torpedoes and finish them off. It's like, yeah, that's
I feel like the role of the Inferno and Ion, the Inferno will be the more danger one because it's more heavily armored. If you look at the stats we have them now, it will probably be getting close, trying to break the shields, and the Ions will be hanging back a little further, shooting at those PDS or shooting at the turrets.
That's kind of why, Celine, I'm hoping that for the Perseus, which also uses size 7 guns, that we get both versions of the size 7 cannon options for the Perseus. You can have a close range Perseus version, and then you can have one that can shoot from afar and lob its 20 size 5 torpedoes at something.
okay.
Sorry.
You're good. There was another question from Twitch chat who asks, do you think that the recent PTU access changes have hurt concurrency? I'll say no. As much as people like to make a meme and style on CIG for selling PTU access, Wave 1 PTU access, with like subscribers and stuff like that, I don't think it's hurt. I don't think it's helped though, because the problem with PTU fundamentally isn't who has access. It's that you have to convince people to download a patch, and Star Citizen is not a small game. It is what 75, 80 gigs, maybe more now. So if it's in the upper closer to 100 gigs range already, when you download the PTU, you have to download it again. So that means you have to have like 150 plus gigs of RAM of space for one game. So, that's and for that doesn't seem for like myself, it's not a lot because I've got lots of different drives. But for your average person, that's asking a lot to store information that could be stored with other games that could play more frequently. So, like I don't think it's necessary. I think CIG just barked up the wrong tree in terms of getting those concurrency numbers up. But we don't know because CIG is the one who knows it, and if CIG keeps doing it, they I'm sure they do internal reviews on this sort of stuff all the time, and they probably have seen better concurrency. So who knows? What do you think,
Don't
Celine?
don't crucify me, dear viewers, but I feel like the people that make the biggest deal out of the changes weren't going to play the PTU to begin with.
I'll back you up on that one. I think it's a lot of complaint, much ado about nothing for a lot of those folks.
Yeah.
What do you think, Axis? Do you think it's
I'm
hard?
in agreement with both of you. I think it's a lot of people that I think there is some confusion from the camp that genuinely does help with the PTU that maybe aren't on as much, but at the same time, a lot of people are, yeah, what Marshall said, armchair complaint commanders. I agree with that. People who don't actually contribute to the PTU and fix bugs and
Yeah. There's a lot of there's a lot of jealousy, I think, as well, that comes into a lot of things. It's something as a content creator, I can tell there's a lot of people who, because there's a large contingent of the Star Citizen community who are mad at content creators or think that we're breaking or kind of ruining the game, and I think a lot of that comes down to a lot of content creators are getting recognition by CIG or recognition by the community, and people get mad that they're getting recognition and they aren't for whatever reason. And
Z-Doctor hit it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I have access, is because I'm in a situation where I can just grab one of the subs.
Yeah.
And that the change didn't really affect me.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been in the PTU since before there was a PTU. Like I tested 1.0 Arena Commander sort of stuff by just asking, "Hey, can I test?" And they're like, "Sure," and they gave me access, kind of thing. But I do think there is a little bit of that is the mentality. There's kind of like I want to say like a
envy.
Nah, it's envy. I think, and I'm not going to say it's too like. There's a word that a lot of people use. Entitlement. I think that I don't want to say people feel like they're entitled to stuff, but I do think there's a lot of people who fear that because people who are paying and content creators and stuff like that get access to some of these things a little early, they feel like what CIG is doing is not paying attention to them and their needs, and they're afraid that because of that, that CIG is going to only pay attention to the people who are paying them the more money or making them the more money, and there's that kind of envy. It's like, but I've got problems that I want to see, and if I'm not in the Wave 1 PTU, maybe they're not paying attention to me, or I don't get early access to the cool things, so I can see all the cool things first. I have to rely on these other people to show off all these cool things first, and it's like, that's not really what PTU is. Anyone who's in Wave 1 of PTU can tell you it's not fun. You're not having fun playing PTU.
No. 323 Wave 1 made me the angriest Star Citizen has made me in a while.
It is frustrating. It is, and that was really, for those of you to kind of peek behind the curtain, that was really more like an Evocati patch than it was a Wave 1. So
I can understand, though, the little bit of jealousy of getting to play with new toys.
Yeah.
Like, I see some people get access to certain ships, and I'm like, I want to play with that too.
Yeah.
I can understand that, but it's not detracting from my experience.
Yeah. Am I getting spammed by bots on Twitch at the moment? Not that I can see. No, not really. We've had some bots earlier, but but so like I understand the mentality, but I also think that a lot of it is that sort of mentality is bleeding into this idea that CIG selling access to PTU is gonna, like, they have lower concurrency rates than they hope, and I don't think there's ever been a statement about them having lower concurrency rates than they hoped. I don't remember. Maybe there has been and I didn't see it, but you're just curious because in other streams there was a bot spam. I was curious. I was getting a bigger picture thing. I get bot selling followers all the time and views all the time, but
Yeah, it's kind of a thing, unfortunately.
All right, let's move on to the next question. M. Walker asks, what kind of missions do you think they'll create to make exploration a viable career to pay for the cost of large ships like the Carrack and the Odyssey? We'll get on my soapbox, take on my soapbox and put it down. Because this is something I talk about a lot. One of my big things is exploration is not what you think it is when it comes to Star Citizen. You're not going to be out there finding new jump points and making love to beautiful alien women. You're going to be you're not Kirk. You're you're a ranger, a park ranger. Your job is to go to areas that everybody's been to and remap an area that has already been mapped but hasn't been updated in a while to find if anything has changed. And that can also include on the ground, like going through an area, dropping like a little sensor beacon and letting it map an area and picking it up and then moving to another location and dropping a sensor beacon and kind of you're basically updating maps and data for larger groups like the ICC Stellar Surveyors and maybe other companies. Maybe companies want to, have a better idea of what their area is at. And that's really what's going to pay the bills is you're just going to be going out and using your sensor suites more than often that. And sometimes you'll find, neat exploration things. Sometimes you'll find xenomorphs stuck on a ship, or sometimes you'll just find rocks. So I don't know. What do you think? Axis or Celine, what do you think? What would you think is, what do you think they should do in order to make flying something like a Carrack or an Odyssey viable?
Do you want to go first?
Let's go first because I've been jumping first. I've been jumping in, interrupting a lot.
Go ahead, Axis.
Oh, that's.
You're muted. Your audio just cut out, Axis. There you go. You good?
Okay. Range finding is one thing that they could do with scanning because you could find valuable ore deposits. Resource nodes, derelicts, wreck sites, ruins, not just what I'm talking about, ruined settlements or what are you saying? Like the old ruined settlements.
Yeah.
I'm actually talking ancient civilizations.
Yeah.
And we actually have some of those quite close to Stanton in Terra, near Quasi.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of settlements made by an ancient culture that vanished.
The Atlanteans. Yeah. They called themselves the locals call them the Atlanteans, the civilization that existed before them. I don't know why they call them that. I think it's just a joke, but
probably. But I would love to see a mission like go to this dig site and procure an artifact. Your League of Artifact Collectors has been picking up all kinds of unusual artifacts. And the fact that we're finding Hadesian artifacts in Stanton, I'm wondering if they maybe made it to the stars. Maybe. I mean, it'd be funny if we came across a Hadesian ship. Not just the Van Duel.
I do know that they, the CIG is against the precursor civilization trope, so I don't think the Hadesians are going to be like super spread out. They might just be connected to Hades, but we do know they were probably starfaring. So, what do you think, Celine? How would you fix the Carrack Odyssey making money problem?
Okay, so we do have some missions already that could be expanded in range and maybe given a little less, oh, look here marker, like the find crash ship or whatever.
Yeah.
There could be one like, hey, we sent a survey vessel out. Could you find them and maybe finish their sweep? Also, the way the scanners work in Star Citizen, there's a pulse for a long-range thing, and then there's signals.
Mm-hmm.
I can only imagine some sort of outpost or station would have a much larger array. So they would be able to pulse an area of their system. Oh, we've picked up some high density signals out X distance away.
Mhm.
Can you go investigate these signals for us? And you find mining claims and stuff like that. And Marshy, person
Marashi.
in
Yeah.
chat
Yeah.
brought up Starfield. That would be a good idea. Kind of like cataloging, bringing it back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Placing some markers around a cave or something to set up map data to bring back.
Savvy has a question. Why not have them look for temporary wormholes in the system? I the way that the lore makes out, and obviously lore doesn't dictate everything. It's just gameplay that dictates things. But the way that CIG writes the lore tends to be the way that they want the game to be, because the writers don't just come up there and be like, what shall we come up with today? Crazy things. They have to go to the gameplay team and be like, what are you looking for? And then they'll kind of come up with little stories behind whatever they're doing with the ships or gameplay or whatever. They're kind of, it's a collaborative sort of writing experience. And so everything they write is been vetted by some team lead somewhere as like, yeah, that works. I like that idea. So jump points, which we don't have a lot of information on because they haven't finalized them yet. The one thing that they are very solid on is that jump points are stable. They can be unstable a little bit, but they're stable. And having unstable temporary jump points doesn't really work because no one would pay for it. Why would you want an unstable temporary jump point that could disappear tomorrow? That's like charting a tributary that was created during a flood that's, going to last you a week. No one's going to care about that information. So that might help for like smuggling runs and stuff like that. But I don't think, I've constantly been on my soapbox saying, I do not think that charting jump points is going to be a viable profession. What you're going to see is more likely going through a jump point and scanning the jump point for changes inside that jump point rather than anything else. But
that's not to say they probably won't have a few stable ones hidden, but they're going to be hard to find.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What the hell is even that?
Terra in lore is mentioned to have several pre-existing stable jump points that are uncharted.
Mm-hmm.
But to answer their question, I don't think they're going to be disappear, reappear type jump points.
No,
like the tides.
I do think they'll be like tributaries. I think we'll see something like you can get into the main, like, because the way that they talk about jump points is like rivers, and they had an idea of having these little splinter things where you could like enter in through a jump point, not through the main section, but maybe through like a small tributary that will then dip you in, so you can avoid, say, scanners at the jump point or a blockade of some kind. And the other tributaries will kind of lead out from from your outside too, so you can like
spatial
avoid
distortion, basically.
Yeah, think about it. How sometimes rivers will jump the bank and they'll create new little small like roundabouts. It's that sort of idea.
What this kind of
that would be kind of interesting and maybe a little terrifying if like you suggested, the idea of flood-based tributaries on rivers. If mini jump points popped up linked to a main jump point, there's storms happening between those? Oh,
Possibly.
God.
I mean, it's in a different dimension. That's the jump points are holes through interspace. So
will we need Geller fields?
Possibly. I've always been the joke that 40K is actually a prequel to Star Citizen or Star Citizen sequel is a prequel to 40K.
There is one system that's currently inaccessible from the past to the UEE that I'm wanting the CIG when we get near Farron, that they want to answer what's up with it. Or Otani. It's kind of my actual character's backstory is that he's a drifter from that system, then has lost his memory and has no idea how he got here.
Got it. Yeah,
No.
nice. Yeah. So we got 3 more questions left. Next question is from M. Walker, who asks, what kind of missions do you think they will create to make... Oh, no, I already answered that question. Next question, 2 more questions. Plague Dealer asks, what, if any, variants do you see for the Apollo? There's already 2 variants. So, what do you think, Axis?
I could see a standard, like almost like a Connie Andromeda version, where it's a combat version, but for the Apollo, it seems like kind of a niche version of what it is. I don't know. Maybe a cargo and then a Andromeda, like their version of the Andromeda and Taurus, but doesn't really need variations. Like,
I know there's people
a
who
lot of
want
people
it.
are saying.
People love the shape of that thing. It's got that classic, like, Federation style. Got those nacelles in the back.
It looks like an Intrepid class ship. It really does.
So I get why people want it. I could see people wanting maybe I could see a variant in like exploration, maybe, and maybe like a cargo variant if they wanted to go that direction. But I don't think it really needs those variants. There's already plenty of variants of other ships. Celine, what do you think? Variants for the Apollo?
We have the standard and the medevac, and the medevac is based off of in-universe TV show. Personally, I would think if there were to be a cargo variant, make it an aftermarket thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like someone just went through and unbolted the beds, kind of ripped it all out and just put down a few grav plates.
I was going to say there's actually, the thing is that the way that the beds will work is probably going to more like a modularity system, because you can't like mix and match. You have a room that has 3 beds, 2 beds, or 1 bed. So they could have modules instead of variants. Is that what you're kind of pushing towards, Celine?
Yep.
So, yeah, I can see it. Last question, unless we have another question pops up from Twitch or YouTube, is from Gin and Tonic, who asks 3.23.x personal hangars. Do you get the hangar of the max size of your ship in your hangar, or the max size flyable ship in your hangar? Max size flyable ship. So if you have an 890, then you're going to get an 890 hangar. But if the only thing you have is an Aurora, you get an Aurora hangar, and that is your maximum stuff. So, and they said they may change that in the future, but no, if you buy an 890 after getting an Aurora, you don't get a bigger personal hangar with the 890. You get your simple Aurora hangar, and then you'll get not a persistent, but what is it? What is it? The thing where it's like, it's not your personal hangar in the sense like it's like a persistent hangar, but it is still persists. It's like spun off. Oh, my brain just went into brain explosion, brain melt. Oh, what am I thinking?
That is me constantly.
Yeah. The monkey with the syllables stop clapping. So now I don't know what the word is. Instance. Thank you, Damas Lamal. It makes me feel good.
I wish
instance.
my Stream Deck buttons would come through. I have the sound of a card turning over, but not starting.
Yeah. Oh gosh, but yeah, it's instance. I think you get an instance hangar if you have a larger ship, so you have a temporary loaner kind of hangar, but it's not going to be a epic rise from the ground sort of hangar. So, yeah.
So if you own a Cutlass Black through the Pledge store,
yes,
but you buy a Hammerhead, you will not be able to pull the Hammerhead into your personal hangar.
No.
Your biggest one will be the Cutlass Black.
Yes.
Like for me, my biggest one would be Polaris.
Yeah. Yeah. When that comes out.
Which is currently a Hammerhead.
Yeah. So it'd be a Hammerhead. It'd be whatever is the Hammerhead size. Like mine's I think I have a Perseus, so I think I have a Hammerhead as loaner too. So that would be me as well. Though I do also have a a Nautilus, so it might be bigger, but who knows? From my understanding, it will still be rise from the ground, just not an arrow view or whatever. It might still rise from the ground, but you can't, like, it won't persist. So, like, if you like drop if you take your box of cruise and you put it down on the hangar and you get into your 890 and you fly away, when you come back, that cruise is not going to be there anymore. So, all right, this is the real last question, which is from the Glass Sword, who asks, would you like to see a Star Citizen anime? Half serious question. The answer, yes.
Yeah.
I would. It's a fantastic universe. It's got a lot of depth to it. You give a talented team of artists some just vague dressing and tell them to come up with their own story. They could do amazing work. So
I could see them following the what is it? The belligerent duck crew.
Yeah.
Easily.
I could see its own standalone story, because you can tell anything. You want to do a racing story in Star Citizen, you got racing. You want to tell like a gritty story of survival in Warzone, you've got that. You want to tell a story about a power armored soldier holding off waves of enemies for the savior of humanity. You want your Gundam story, you got a Gundam story. You want
I was about to go there.
Your shonen battle anime, you've got shonen battle stuff that's set up perfectly. You want intrigue and mystery, you've got that. I mean, there's pretty much the universe is built in a way that it's, because it's a sandbox, it's perfect for any kind of storytelling you want to do, which is nice. I would say, even this is going to sound really, really weird, but I have thought about this enough to know that I know what company I'd love to see do the Star Citizen anime, and that would be Ufotable. Ufotable. They're the ones who do Demon Slayer. So, because they've got that flair.
Demon Slayer and all them, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they call it unlimited budget works, folks.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement there. I think that's kind of the last one there. Oh, we have one. Okay, now keep more people showing up there. Will we be able to use our Revel and York hangar upgrades? That'll be after, probably at 1.0 kind of thing. And lastly, when do you think we can overthrow the Hurstons? Right now. You can do it. You just need to fight the power. Take all the anti-Hurston missions.
They're giving us missions to take things offline at the distribution centers. If they give us something like that to open up Hurston, yeah.
Yeah. I have no problem doing. There we go. If you oh gosh, what I was gonna say.
Jedi Drifter asked one twice.
What's that?
It's a pretty good one. Search and rescue. Could search and rescue missions, missing persons, ships, etc. be considered a type of exploration?
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah. It's using similar techniques. You're gonna have to scan, find a location, and I think that's where like search and rescue is gonna start to blend with like bounty hunting. Because I think like we need scanning to work before we can get proper bounty hunting to work, and they're going to be very similar. So I'm not going to talk about Operation Doggo here on the Captain's Table. If you want to know about Operation Doggo, you got to come watch me live at twitch.tv/TheAstroPub, youtube.com/TheAstroPubLive, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. You can catch me on the weekends. During the week, I start at 8 p.m., and during the weekends, I start at around noon. And of course, check out Axis0096 at twitch.tv/Axis0096 and youtube.com/Axis0096. The 0096 now makes a lot more sense. And the name Axis makes a lot more sense too, because for those who don't know, it's a Gundam reference.
Yes, it is.
And check out Celine Star Dragon at twitch.tv/Celine Star Dragon, all one word. And yeah, if you enjoy this, hit that like button, comment down below your thoughts. Join us live at twitch.tv/TheAstroPub and youtube.com/TheAstroPubLive on Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, to join us live to watch the Captain's Table live. I'd love to have you come here. And as it's becoming that time of year, so if you are a content creator or a fan or org leader, or you make machinima or videos or whatever, and you want to come on and talk a little bit about Star Citizen, maybe even a specific topic about Star Citizen, reach out to me on Discord. You can also, I'm on Twitter. I have my my DMs open, so you can always come in and hang out and ask me there. I also have my email in there as well, so you can email there as well. I think I have in the comment in the description as well. So always looking for that as well. So make sure you feel free to do that if you're interested. And like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.